Have you ever been told to avoid sweet fruit because of your blood sugar? For years, that advice has echoed in the minds of so many people over 50 living with diabetes or prediabetes. And while it comes from a place of caution, it has also caused fear, frustration, and the quiet loss of joy at the table. But what if some of the very fruits you've been told to avoid, like melon and plum, were actually helping your body? That fear might be keeping you from feeling better, staying hydrated, easing inflammation, and gently supporting your digestion. In this video, we'll walk together through a calming, honest look at how 2 naturally sweet fruits may help regulate blood sugar, not raise it. You'll learn how melon, rich in water and fiber, supports hydration, reduces swelling, and even helps with that dry, sluggish feeling many people experience. You'll also discover how plums can gently relieve constipation, ease joint stiffness, and curb those late-day sugar cravings. Each of the 15 sections builds on the next, showing you how timing, pairing, and preparation can turn fruit from a concern into a quiet solution. We'll also explore how eating these fruits can fit into your real life, morning or evening, with healthy breakfast ideas or evening snacks, all designed to feel light, satisfying, and kind to your body. There's no pressure to change everything, just a warm invitation to return to foods that are familiar, healing, and often misunderstood. Because sometimes the thing you've been avoiding is the very thing that helps you feel better. This video isn't just about fruit. It's about permission to nourish yourself, to enjoy natural sweetness again, and to trust that food can still support your blood sugar, your joints, and your sense of comfort all at once. Have you ever sat at the kitchen table holding a slice of sweet fruit in your hand and hesitated before taking a bite? Not because you didn't want it, but because somewhere along the way you were told you couldn't have it? For so many people over 50 living with diabetes or prediabetes, this has become a quiet, everyday moment. A moment of second-guessing, a little fear. That sweet piece of cantaloupe or plum suddenly feels risky, like it could undo all the effort you've put into managing your blood sugar. And it's no wonder decades of advice, much of it well-meaning, have drilled the idea that sugar is sugar and that sweet fruits should be avoided or strictly limited. But here's the gentle truth. Not all sugars are the same, and not all sweetness is harmful. In fact, some of the very fruits you've learned to avoid because they're too sweet may actually help your body stay more balanced, more hydrated, and more at ease. It's not about the sweetness. It's about how nature wraps that sweetness in fiber, water, and nutrients, how your body receives it, digests it, and puts it to work. When we look at whole fruits like melon or plum, what we're really seeing is a complete package. Melons, for example, are made of more than 90% water. That means the sugar they contain is diluted by hydration, softened, so to speak, making the rise in blood sugar much gentler and more gradual than something processed like soda or cookies. Plums, on the other hand, come packed with fiber and antioxidants. Their sweetness is balanced by compounds that support digestion, reduce inflammation, and feed the good bacteria in your gut. And here's something not many people talk about. When your digestion works better and inflammation is lower, your body becomes more sensitive to insulin. That means your blood sugar doesn't just respond better to fruit, it responds better to everything you eat. This is why small, naturally sweet fruits can actually be a quiet form of support instead of a threat. Another key piece is how you eat them. Many people find that eating fruit with something like a small piece of cheese, a handful of walnuts, or a spoonful of Greek yogurt helps slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar. That's because protein and fat slow down the body's absorption of carbohydrates, including the natural sugar in fruit. So a plum alone might digest in 30 minutes, but a plum with almonds could keep you full and steady for hours. This combination approach isn't new, it's something many people have discovered just by listening to how their body feels. When meals include variety, fiber, and balance, the body doesn't panic. It processes slowly with less stress on your pancreas and less risk of those sharp spikes and crashes. There's also an emotional layer to this that matters more than people realize. When fruit is forbidden, it becomes a source of stress. Every bite becomes a negotiation. Should I eat this? What if my sugar goes up? That kind of tension builds over time, and eventually people either avoid fruit completely or eat it with guilt and anxiety. But food isn't meant to create fear, especially not fruit. Melon and plum, in their whole, fresh forms, are some of the most forgiving and healing foods we have. They taste good, they satisfy the craving for sweetness, and they do it without artificial ingredients, added sugars, or harsh effects on the body. For many older adults, reintroducing these fruits in small, thoughtful ways has helped reduce cravings, improve digestion, and restore a healthier, calmer relationship with food. Think about this: when you crave something sweet, what's usually around? Cookies, cake, candy, foods that give you a fast hit and a fast crash. But what if, instead, there was a chilled bowl of cantaloupe in the fridge? Or a few sliced plums with cinnamon and a sprinkle of crushed walnuts? These are foods that feel like treats, but actually help hydrate your body, support your digestion, and slow the release of sugar into your blood. That's a win in every direction. And because they're so easy to prepare, just wash, slice, chill, they naturally become part of your routine. You don't have to fight yourself to eat them. You don't have to negotiate or count down the bites. You just eat. Enjoy. Move on. One small, often missed point is the glycemic index, or how quickly a food raises blood sugar. Whole fruits like melon and plum tend to be lower on this scale, especially when compared to things like white bread or rice. This is because their sugar is surrounded by fiber and water, two things that slow digestion and ease the burden on your system. When seniors tell me they avoid melon because it's too sweet, I gently remind them, yes, it tastes sweet, but it behaves like something much more balanced. The same goes for plums. They may taste like a treat, but their effect is more like a slow, steady release of energy, one that supports your system rather than shocking it. And here's one more gentle truth. Sweetness is not your enemy. In fact, for many older adults, reconnecting with naturally sweet, fiber-rich fruits is part of healing. It's about saying yes again, yes to flavor, yes to satisfaction, yes to the simple act of enjoying food without fear. This doesn't mean eating unlimited fruit all day. It means choosing wisely, listening closely, and finding what works for your body. That's the kind of care that lasts. That's the kind of sweetness that supports, not disrupts, your health. And that's why we're starting this journey here. Because once you realize sweet fruit isn't something to avoid but something to understand, it opens the door to all kinds of healing. It makes the rest of the journey feel doable. Up next, we'll take a closer look at melon, how this water-rich fruit does more than hydrate, and how it may become one of your quietest allies in supporting blood sugar and energy day by day. There's something deeply comforting about a cold slice of melon on a warm day. Whether it's the soft bite of cantaloupe or the crisp juiciness of honeydew, these fruits have a way of soothing the body without fanfare. And for many people over 50, especially those managing diabetes, that gentle comfort might hold more power than they've realized. Melons aren't just refreshing, they're naturally designed to support your blood sugar, your hydration, and your energy in ways that processed foods simply can't. When we look at melons, what we see is a fruit that's more than 90% water. That means every bite doesn't just taste sweet, it also hydrates, cools, and helps your body function more smoothly, especially in older age when dehydration becomes more common and more dangerous. You see, as we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. By the time you feel thirsty, your body may already be lacking water. And mild dehydration doesn't always show up as dryness. It often shows up as fatigue, joint stiffness, headaches, constipation, or even sugar cravings. That's where melon quietly steps in. Because it's rich in natural water, fiber, and electrolytes like potassium and magnesium, melon helps your body stay balanced. It hydrates gently without needing you to drink large amounts of water all at once. And hydration, believe it or not, plays a key role in blood sugar control. When the body is well hydrated, your kidneys flush out excess glucose more efficiently, reducing the strain on your system. When you're dehydrated, blood sugar becomes more concentrated, which can lead to higher readings even without eating more. That's why small habits, like having a bowl of melon with breakfast, can quietly support your numbers throughout the day. But hydration is just the beginning. Melon also contains a type of fiber that slows digestion and helps regulate how quickly sugar enters the bloodstream. This means that even though melon tastes sweet, it doesn't hit your system all at once. Instead, it releases its natural sugars slowly, especially when eaten in moderate portions and paired with protein or healthy fat. Many people I've spoken with over the years have told me they feel lighter, more energetic, and even less bloated after making melon a regular part of their morning or mid-afternoon routine. It's not about eating a huge bowl, it's about choosing something that's both delicious and functional. Let's talk about joint health for a moment. Many older adults struggle with stiffness or swelling, especially in the knees, ankles, and fingers. And while melon isn't a cure, its high water content can support circulation and reduce fluid retention. When the body is properly hydrated, tissues are better lubricated, waste is removed more efficiently, and inflammation can be gently eased. One viewer once told me that after replacing her afternoon crackers with a mix of melon and cottage cheese, she noticed her ankles weren't as swollen in the evenings. That's not magic, it's hydration working alongside gentle nutrients to bring the body back into balance. Another quiet benefit of melon is how it affects your cravings. When the body is dehydrated or running low on steady energy, it sends out hunger signals, and those signals are often misunderstood. You might think you need something sweet or salty, but what your body really needs is water, potassium, or a slow source of glucose. Melon gives you all three. So, instead of reaching for a sugary drink or baked snack in the afternoon, imagine enjoying a few cold slices of cantaloupe with a sprinkle of cinnamon or a side of plain yogurt. Feels like a treat, but your body reads it as support. And over time, that kind of routine can naturally reduce sugar cravings, improve energy, and stabilize your mood throughout the day. Even digestion benefits from melon. The combination of water and fiber helps move things along gently, especially important for those who deal with constipation, which becomes more common with age. Unlike harsh fiber supplements or bran-heavy cereals that can feel rough or cause bloating, melon is soft, soothing, and easy to digest. It's perfect for the morning when your system is still waking up, or for the evening when heavy foods can disrupt sleep. Some people enjoy melon with a pinch of sea salt and lime juice. It helps replace electrolytes and makes for a light, flavorful snack that won't weigh you down. Others blend it into smoothies with cucumber and mint, creating a cooling drink that supports digestion and hydration at the same time. Melon is also rich in potassium, which helps regulate blood pressure and supports heart health, two major concerns for anyone managing diabetes. When potassium levels are stable, your body handles sodium more effectively, which reduces the strain on your circulatory system. This in turn improves blood flow, reduces swelling, and supports glucose movement into cells where it can be used for energy. That's the beauty of melon. It supports your system quietly through hydration, fiber, and nutrients that work together in harmony. Now I want to address a common fear I often hear. Isn't melon too sweet? It's a fair question. The answer lies in understanding the difference between taste and impact. Yes, melon tastes sweet, but that doesn't mean it causes the same blood sugar spike as a candy bar or pastry. The body processes fruit sugar differently when it comes wrapped in water, fiber, and minerals. That package slows digestion and changes the insulin response. Many older adults find that melon, when eaten in small portions with other foods, has little to no negative impact on their blood sugar. In fact, it can lower the need for snacks later in the day by keeping energy steady and cravings at bay. So the next time you feel a bit tired in the afternoon, or you're standing in front of the fridge wondering what to eat, remember this: melon may be one of the most naturally balanced, body-friendly foods you can choose. It cools you down, lifts your energy, satisfies a sweet craving, and supports digestion, all in one bite. Coming up next, we'll take a closer look at specific melon types, like cantaloupe and honeydew, and explore how each one offers slightly different benefits for hydration, inflammation, and overall comfort. If you've ever woken up and felt like your knees didn't want to bend or your fingers were too stiff to open a jar, you're not alone. Joint discomfort is one of the most common daily struggles for people over 50, especially those managing blood sugar or inflammation. And while it might seem surprising, the answer to some of that stiffness may be sitting in your fruit drawer, specifically in the form of cantaloupe and honeydew melon. These two fruits, often thought of as simple summertime snacks, are actually packed with natural compounds that work behind the scenes to ease pressure, reduce swelling, and support how your joints feel throughout the day. Let's start with cantaloupe. This orange-fleshed melon isn't just juicy and sweet. It's rich in beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A. And vitamin A plays a quiet but powerful role in supporting joint health by helping reduce low-level inflammation. Inflammation is one of the biggest reasons joints feel stiff or sore, and while no fruit will replace your medications or cure arthritis, cantaloupe offers gentle help, especially when eaten consistently. It also contains vitamin C, which helps your body rebuild collagen, one of the key components of cartilage, the material that cushions your joints and keeps them moving smoothly. For older adults who notice more creaking, cracking, or tension in the knees, hips, or hands, small changes like including cantaloupe in your weekly rotation may bring surprising comfort. Now let's look at honeydew. This pale green melon is often seen as the less exciting cousin to cantaloupe, but nutritionally, it holds its own. Honeydew is particularly high in potassium, which is a mineral that helps regulate fluid balance in your cells. When potassium is in good supply, your body can manage sodium more effectively, which reduces swelling in the legs, ankles, and hands, something many older adults deal with daily. That puffiness you feel in the morning or after a salty meal. Honeydew, by helping you stay hydrated and increasing potassium, may ease that discomfort gently. It also supports muscle relaxation, making it especially helpful after activity or at the end of a long day on your feet. What's beautiful about both cantaloupe and honeydew is that they're not harsh, they're soothing. Unlike some high-fiber vegetables or bitter greens that can cause bloating or discomfort in sensitive stomachs, melons are easy to digest and work quietly to support your system. They also offer something that's often overlooked in the world of diabetic-friendly foods: joy. Their natural sweetness, vibrant colors, and soft textures make them feel like a treat, even though they're working hard inside your body to support blood flow, reduce inflammation, and help your joints feel less burdened. One viewer once wrote to me and said, "I started adding cantaloupe to my breakfast every other day, just a small bowl. After about a week, I realized my hands weren't as tight when I opened the pickle jar in the afternoon." That's not a dramatic transformation, but it's a meaningful one. And it's the kind of improvement that's easy to miss if you're only focused on numbers or big milestones. The truth is, our bodies often respond best to quiet, consistent support, not flashy quick fixes. And that's exactly what these melons offer. Both cantaloupe and honeydew are also high in water, which is essential for joint lubrication. Think of your joints like hinges. When they're dry, they creak and grind. When they're well lubricated, they move more freely and with less pain. Hydrating foods like melon help keep that lubrication system working. And because melon is mostly water, it's a way to hydrate without having to force yourself to drink glass after glass of plain water, a challenge many older adults struggle with. The hydration helps in more ways than one. It supports kidney function, aids digestion, improves skin elasticity, and even helps regulate body temperature, which is especially important if you spend time outdoors or in warmer climates. Some people worry about fruit causing bloating, but with melon, the trick is to eat it slowly and on its own or with protein. When eaten too quickly or combined with heavy meals, it may cause a bit of gas in sensitive systems. But when it's enjoyed calmly, maybe mid-morning after a walk or as an afternoon pick-me-up, it's far more likely to bring ease than discomfort. For those who enjoy making things ahead of time, slicing cantaloupe and honeydew and storing them in clear containers in the fridge can turn these fruits into your go-to snack. Every time you open the door, you'll be met with something refreshing and helpful. Not just tasty, but supportive of your daily health. On the other hand, foods with added sugars like cereals, fruit juice, sweetened yogurt, or baked goods often rank much higher and digest far too quickly to be helpful. One viewer recently shared with me that she had stopped eating fruit entirely after her diagnosis, thinking it was the safest choice. But over time, she began to feel more tired, more constipated, and more prone to cravings. After talking to her doctor, she added back half a cup of fruit at breakfast, starting with honeydew and later trying sliced plum with cottage cheese. Her energy improved, her digestion smoothed out, and most importantly, her fear around food began to ease. That's what this is really about, not just nutrition, but emotional peace. Knowing that you can enjoy the taste of something sweet without guilt, without worry. Now, that doesn't mean fruit is something to eat in large, unmeasured quantities. Like anything, it works best when it's respected. Most people find that small portions, half a cup to 1 cup at a time, give them the sweetness they want and the fiber they need without overwhelming their system. Timing helps too. Eating fruit with other foods rather than on an empty stomach helps slow digestion even more. A plum with a slice of cheese. Melon with plain yogurt. These are simple combinations that feel indulgent but work well inside the body. And let's not forget satisfaction. Fruit satisfies not just your hunger, but your emotional need for sweetness. It's a safer way to say yes to something that feels good. And when you can meet that need in a nourishing way, you're less likely to reach for the cookies, the soda, or the candy later. In that way, fruit isn't a danger, it's a tool. A sweet, gentle tool that helps you stay on track, feel less deprived, and build habits that actually last. So the next time someone says all sugar is the same, you can smile and know better. You can reach for that chilled slice of cantaloupe or that juicy plum and know that what you're eating isn't just a treat, it's fuel, hydration, comfort, and care, all in one bite. Coming up next, we'll explore how that same gentle nourishment can help reduce swelling and help you feel lighter, especially in your legs and hands, where fluid tends to build up with age. If you've ever looked down at your ankles in the afternoon and noticed they feel swollen or your shoes feel tighter than they did in the morning, you're not imagining things. Many people over 50, especially those managing diabetes or heart conditions, experience fluid retention as part of daily life. That puffiness can show up in your legs, feet, hands, or even your face. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, and it's often brushed off as something we just have to live with. But the body has quiet ways of asking for help, and one of those ways is through gentle hydration and mineral balance. This is where melon, especially cantaloupe and honeydew, can offer more than just a sweet snack. They can offer daily relief. Melon is made up of over 90% water, and that alone makes it one of the most hydrating foods you can eat. But what really makes it powerful is what's in that water. Melon is naturally rich in potassium, a mineral that works like a balancing partner to sodium. When we eat too much salt, which is easy to do with processed foods, the body holds onto water to dilute that salt. That leads to swelling. But when we increase potassium, the body can release that excess fluid, helping reduce bloating and improving circulation. Think of potassium as nature's reset button. And melon delivers it in a form that's easy on the kidneys and supportive of your overall system. If you're someone who takes walks for circulation, practices gentle stretching, or simply wants to feel a little lighter in your knees and ankles, melons can be part of that care routine. You don't need to overhaul your diet or start taking exotic supplements. Sometimes, the right fruit at the right time, something sweet, cool, and easy to prepare, is all your body is really asking for. It's these subtle shifts that tend to stick because they feel good. They fit your lifestyle, not fight against it. Next, we'll take a closer look at what makes the sugar in fruit, especially melon, different from the kind of sugar that gets added to drinks, snacks, or processed foods. Because once you understand the balance nature builds into whole fruits, you'll see why they behave very differently in the body, especially for people with diabetes. One of the biggest sources of confusion I see, especially among older adults managing diabetes, is the idea that sugar is sugar no matter where it comes from. Many people have heard this phrase for years. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Like a rule you can easily follow: if it tastes sweet, avoid it. But the reality, especially when it comes to fruit, is far more nuanced. And understanding the difference between natural fruit sugar and added sugar may be one of the most important steps in rebuilding trust with your food, particularly if you've been living with the fear of glucose spikes and insulin resistance. So let's walk through this gently, like we're having a calm, honest conversation over a cup of herbal tea. When you eat something sweet from a package, a cookie, a soda, a pastry, you're usually consuming added sugar. That means the sugar was extracted from its natural source and added to the food in concentrated form. It's no longer tied to fiber, water, or nutrients. It digests fast, enters the bloodstream quickly, and causes a rapid spike in blood glucose. These spikes can overwhelm the body's insulin response, leading to a crash later, followed by more cravings, fatigue, or even mood swings. That cycle, spike, crash, crave, is what makes added sugar such a challenge, especially for people with diabetes. Now, let's compare that to the sugar found in something like a plum or a slice of cantaloupe. This sugar is built into a structure surrounded by water, fiber, and nutrients that all work together to slow down digestion. When you bite into a piece of fruit, your body has to process the fiber first. That takes time. And during that time, the sugar is released slowly, like a slow drip from a faucet, not a fire hose. This gentle release helps your body manage blood sugar more effectively. Your insulin system isn't overwhelmed. Your energy stays steadier. And because the fruit is hydrating and filling, you're less likely to reach for more food right away. Another key difference is what comes along with the sugar. Fruit brings antioxidants, minerals, and enzymes, compounds that support your immune system, reduce inflammation, and nourish your digestive tract. Added sugars bring none of that. They're empty. They don't support your cells, your muscles, or your heart. But fruit sugars are part of a complete package designed by nature to work with your body, not against it. It's not about how sweet something tastes, it's about how it behaves in your system after you swallow it. Let's talk about the glycemic index for a moment. This is a scale that measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. The lower the number, the slower and steadier the impact. Whole fruits like plums and melons typically have a moderate or low glycemic index, especially when eaten in moderation and paired with protein or fat. This is especially helpful for people with diabetes or those over 50 who may be more sensitive to fast-digesting carbs. Let's imagine a typical day. You wake up with puffy hands, maybe a little stiffness in your joints. You've had a salty dinner the night before, something like soup, deli meat, or even store-bought sauces. You've also had a little less water than usual. All of this adds up to retention. Now, imagine starting your morning with a small bowl of chilled melon. Maybe cantaloupe with a squeeze of lime or a few sprigs of mint. Not only is it refreshing and easy to digest, but it's quietly starting the process of flushing out what your body no longer needs. That extra water in the melon helps support your kidneys. The potassium helps balance out sodium. And because it's paired with natural fiber, it encourages smooth digestion, which is also key to reducing overall bloating and pressure in the belly. Some people think of diuretics when they hear the word fluid retention. And yes, medications can be helpful in certain cases. But the body often responds better to natural, steady support. Water-rich foods like melon don't force the body. They nudge it gently. They hydrate without overwhelming the system. And unlike sugary drinks or juices, melon's natural sweetness comes packaged with benefits, not just glucose. You're getting hydration, fiber, and essential nutrients in every bite. This combination allows the body to release water in a calm, steady way, without triggering the cycle of dehydration and rehydration that can stress your heart, kidneys, or joints. Another gentle benefit is how melon supports circulation. When the body is well hydrated and potassium levels are balanced, blood can move more freely through your vessels. This helps carry oxygen to your muscles, your brain, and yes, your joints. Improved circulation often leads to more energy, better focus, and reduced feelings of heaviness in the limbs. I once spoke with a man in his early 70s who started eating a cup of melon every afternoon. He told me it was the only change he made that month. But after 2 weeks, he realized he didn't need to lie down as often in the afternoons. His legs didn't ache as much. He felt more mobile. That kind of story isn't rare, it's just under-discussed. Now, let's not forget how you eat melon. Cold, slow, and in small amounts is often the most effective. Eating too much fruit too quickly can overwhelm digestion in some people, especially those with slower motility or sensitive systems. But a few cubes eaten calmly, as a snack between meals or paired with protein, can be remarkably helpful. Some people add a small piece of cheese. Others mix melon into a leafy salad with a drizzle of olive oil and lemon. These simple combinations make melon more than a snack. They make it a meal component that works with your entire body. And for those who wake up swollen or go to bed feeling heavy, the timing of your fruit matters. Melon tends to work best earlier in the day, when digestion is stronger and the body is naturally flushing out fluids. Morning or early afternoon is ideal. That way, you're giving your system time to process the hydration, release what it doesn't need, and move more freely before the end of the day. You might even notice changes in your sleep quality, especially if your body feels less weighed down or uncomfortable as bedtime approaches. Some older adults are surprised to learn that swelling is a form of inflammation, and that by supporting hydration and nutrient balance, they're actually helping reduce low-grade inflammation that affects the joints, muscles, and even cognitive function. The body isn't a set of disconnected parts. It's one system, constantly adjusting. And sometimes all it needs is the right support at the right time. Melon isn't a miracle food, but it's consistent. It works slowly, quietly, and thoroughly, especially when eaten regularly and with care. So the next time your hands feel tight, your feet feel tired, or your body just feels weighed down, try this. Cut up a small container of melon in the morning and keep it chilled. Reach for it mid-morning with a handful of unsalted nuts or a bit of cottage cheese. Notice how you feel, not just immediately, but at the end of the day. It may be subtle, but that's the kind of support your body remembers. Up next, we'll explore how making melon a part of your morning routine can do more than ease swelling. It can also support smooth, regular digestion without the need for harsh supplements or fiber drinks. Some people think of diuretics when they hear the word fluid retention, and yes, medications can be helpful in certain cases. But the body often responds better to natural, steady support. Water-rich foods like melon don't force the body, they nudge it gently. They hydrate without overwhelming the system. And unlike sugary drinks or juices, melon's natural sweetness comes packaged with benefits, not just glucose. You're getting hydration, fiber, and essential nutrients in every bite. This combination allows the body to release water in a calm, steady way without triggering the cycle of dehydration and rehydration that can stress your heart, kidneys, or joints. Another gentle benefit is how melon supports circulation. When the body is well hydrated and potassium levels are balanced, blood can move more freely through your vessels. This helps carry oxygen to your muscles, your brain, and yes, your joints. Improved circulation often leads to more energy, better focus, and reduced feelings of heaviness in the limbs. I once spoke with a man in his early 70s who started eating a cup of melon every afternoon. He told me it was the only change he made that month, but after 2 weeks, he realized he didn't need to lie down as often in the afternoons. His legs didn't ache as much. He felt more mobile. That kind of story isn't rare, it's just under-discussed. Now, let's not forget how you eat melon. Cold, slow, and in small amounts is often the most effective. Eating too much fruit too quickly can overwhelm digestion in some people, especially those with slower motility or sensitive systems. But a few cubes eaten calmly as a snack between meals or paired with protein can be remarkably helpful. Some people add a small piece of cheese. Others mix melon into a leafy salad with a drizzle of olive oil and lemon. These simple combinations make melon more than a snack. They make it a meal component that works with your entire body. And for those who wake up swollen or go to bed feeling heavy, the timing of your fruit matters. Melon tends to work best earlier in the day when digestion is stronger and the body is naturally flushing out fluids. Morning or early afternoon is ideal. That way, you're giving your system time to process the hydration, release what it doesn't need, and move more freely before the end of the day. You might even notice changes in your sleep quality, especially if your body feels less weighed down or uncomfortable as bedtime approaches. Some older adults are surprised to learn that swelling is a form of inflammation and that by supporting hydration and nutrient balance, they're actually helping reduce low-grade inflammation that affects the joints, muscles, and even cognitive function. The body isn't a set of disconnected parts, it's one system constantly adjusting. And sometimes all it needs is the right support at the right time. Melon isn't a miracle food, but it's consistent. It works slowly, quietly, and thoroughly, especially when eaten regularly and with care. So the next time your hands feel tight, your feet feel tired, or your body just feels weighed down, try this. Cut up a small container of melon in the morning and keep it chilled. Reach for it mid-morning with a handful of unsalted nuts or a bit of cottage cheese. Notice how you feel, not just immediately, but at the end of the day. It may be subtle, but that's the kind of support your body remembers. Up next, we'll explore how making melon a part of your morning routine can do more than ease swelling. It can also support smooth, regular digestion without the need for harsh supplements or fiber drinks. Another often overlooked benefit is how melon supports the stomach lining. For individuals with reflux, indigestion, or a sensitive gut, acidic or spicy breakfast foods can trigger irritation. But melon's pH is naturally soothing, helping to calm the stomach while still providing gentle energy and mild sweetness. And that light sweetness can do something more emotional. It brings joy. For people who've spent years associating food with stress, rules, or restrictions, eating a bowl of fruit without fear can feel like a small freedom. That emotional shift, where breakfast becomes a moment of pleasure, not just survival, has real healing power. Now, when it comes to timing, early morning tends to be ideal. Before your coffee, before toast or eggs, even before supplements if your stomach allows. That's when the gut is most receptive and empty. A few bites of melon can hydrate you, start the digestive process, and send the signal to your system that it's time to wake up and move. It's a small act of care that sets a calming rhythm for the rest of the day. And because melon is so low in calories but high in satisfaction, it can also help those trying to manage weight or reduce overeating later on. Many people find that when they start the day with hydration and fiber, they naturally crave less sugar or starch later. That's the body responding with balance. If you're someone who finds mornings rushed or difficult, don't overthink it. Just prepare a small container of melon the night before and keep it in the fridge. That way, it's the first thing you see when you open the door. A ready-made choice. A message to yourself that today starts with care. Over time, this habit builds more than digestion support. It builds trust. Trust in your body. Trust in your choices. Trust that simple things done consistently can truly make a difference. Coming up, we'll explore another quiet benefit of melon, how its hydration and minerals may help with dry skin, fatigue, and even mild headaches, especially for older adults who often miss the early signs of dehydration. It's easy to overlook the quiet signs our bodies give us, especially as we age. Dry skin that doesn't seem to improve with lotion. Lips that feel cracked by mid-morning. A tired, heavy feeling even after a good night's sleep. Mild headaches that come and go without warning. For many older adults, these discomforts are so common they're seen as part of daily life. But more often than not, they're signals, gentle reminders from your body that it may be missing something simple but essential: hydration. And here's the encouraging news: certain fruits, like cantaloupe and honeydew, are some of the easiest, most effective ways to restore that balance from the inside out. Let's start with the skin. Our skin is our largest organ, and it needs water not just from the outside in, but from the inside out. When we're dehydrated, skin cells shrink slightly, making wrinkles more noticeable and texture feel rough or dull. Many people over 60 notice that their skin feels tight in the morning, even if they're using moisturizers. That's often because they're starting the day with a hydration gap. The body loses water overnight through breathing, and if it's not replenished gently in the morning, the signs show up in our skin, lips, and even our joints. A small serving of melon in the early part of the day, before coffee, before toast, can begin to gently hydrate the body without overwhelming the stomach. Melons aren't just full of water. They also contain vitamin C and natural enzymes that support skin repair and help the body produce collagen, the protein that keeps skin supple and joints cushioned. And when you eat fruits that are rich in beta-carotene, like cantaloupe, your body uses that nutrient to support cell turnover, meaning your skin can stay brighter, healthier, and more comfortable without relying solely on external products. One woman in her 70s told me she'd been trying expensive creams for months with little improvement, but after adding melon and cucumber slices to her daily lunch, her skin felt noticeably less dry. She hadn't expected a difference, but the body often responds to consistent, quiet support in surprising ways. Fatigue is another symptom that catches people off guard. We often assume it's from age or poor sleep, and while those play a role, mild dehydration is one of the most overlooked causes of daily tiredness. When the body lacks enough water, blood volume decreases slightly, which means your heart has to work harder to pump oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and brain. That's why even a small dip in hydration can lead to feelings of low energy, sluggish thinking, and moodiness. Now imagine starting the day with something cool, juicy, and naturally energizing, like a cup of honeydew with a handful of pumpkin seeds. That combination not only hydrates, but provides magnesium and potassium, two minerals that help regulate energy levels, muscle function, and even sleep quality. And speaking of headaches, how often do you experience that dull ache behind the eyes or at the base of the skull? For many older adults, these headaches are written off as just getting older, but they're often the body's way of signaling it needs more water or electrolytes. Water alone doesn't always fix it, especially if you're also losing minerals through medication or heat. That's where fruits like melon step in. With their natural balance of water and electrolytes, they hydrate more efficiently than plain water and help your body hold onto the fluid you're giving it. A few slices mid-morning or in the late afternoon can gently lift that headache, ease tension, and bring clarity back to the moment. Another overlooked benefit? Body temperature regulation. Older adults often feel too hot or too cold more quickly, especially in warmer climates or when moving between indoor and outdoor spaces. This is partly because hydration helps the body manage its internal thermostat. When you're well hydrated, your blood circulates more effectively, your sweat glands function better, and your body stays more stable. Melon, especially when eaten chilled, naturally helps cool the system and reduce feelings of heaviness or overheating. A viewer once wrote in to say that after gardening for 30 minutes, she felt flushed and drained, but a few frozen melon cubes brought her right back. It wasn't just refreshing, it was restorative. Now, many people ask, can I get the same effect from fruit juice? And the honest answer is not quite. Juice removes most of the fiber and alters the water balance, often concentrating sugar in a way that spikes blood glucose more quickly. Whole fruit, on the other hand, retains its fiber and water content, giving you all the hydrating benefits without the sugar crash. That's why melon, eaten whole and slowly, is the better choice. And 4. Those with blood sugar concerns, pairing it with a little protein, like a hard-boiled egg, a spoonful of almond butter, or even a bit of Greek yogurt helps slow digestion and extend the energy. One final point to remember, hydration is cumulative. It's not about drinking a full glass of water all at once or eating a giant fruit salad for lunch. It's about small, steady choices throughout the day. A few melon cubes at breakfast, a plum mid-afternoon, a herbal tea in the evening. Together, these moments add up to a body that feels more comfortable, more alert, and more balanced. Next, we'll explore how this same principle of gentle nourishment can support better sleep, because when your body is calmer, hydrated, and no longer fighting subtle imbalances, it becomes easier to drift off, stay asleep, and wake up feeling refreshed. Sleep is one of the most precious resources we have, and for many people over 50, it's also one of the most elusive. Whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling groggy despite a full night in bed, disrupted sleep becomes more common with age. For those managing blood sugar, the problem becomes even more layered. Blood sugar dips or spikes in the night, frequent trips to the bathroom, restless legs, or a racing mind can all interrupt what should be restorative rest. While we often think of pills or sleep aids as the solution, many people overlook a gentle, natural tool sitting right in the fridge, melon. It may not seem like a sleep food, but when eaten at the right time and in the right way, it can offer soft, steady support that helps calm the body and ease the transition into restful sleep. Melons like cantaloupe and honeydew are high in water and magnesium, a mineral known for helping muscles relax, easing nerve tension, and supporting more restful sleep patterns. Many older adults don't get enough magnesium, especially if they've reduced their intake of leafy greens, legumes, or seeds. A small portion of melon in the evening, maybe an hour or two before bed, can help top off your hydration and provide a mild dose of this calming mineral without the need for supplements that can sometimes cause stomach upset. And because melon is soft, naturally sweet, and easy on the digestive system, it doesn't overload the stomach at a time when the body is beginning to wind down. Another important factor is how hydration affects sleep quality. Dehydration can cause leg cramps, headaches, dry mouth, and even rapid heart rate at night, all of which can jolt you awake or make it harder to fall asleep in the first place. But here's the tricky part. Drinking too much water before bed often leads to middle-of-the-night bathroom trips, which only disrupt sleep further. That's where melon finds its perfect timing. Eaten in the early evening, around dinner time, or as an after-dinner snack, it gives you hydration without flooding your system. The water content is released slowly, and because it's paired with natural fiber, it's less likely to rush through your body all at once. Now let's talk about blood sugar and its relationship with sleep. Many people with diabetes or insulin resistance experience nighttime glucose swings that affect their sleep without even realizing it. A sharp drop in blood sugar can trigger restlessness, anxiety, or even night sweats. Eating a small portion of slow-digesting carbohydrate with some fiber and healthy fat in the evening can help buffer these drops. Melon, especially when paired with a handful of almonds or a spoonful of unsweetened yogurt, becomes a balanced nighttime snack. It satisfies the gentle craving for something sweet while helping keep glucose levels more stable through the night. This combination not only supports your energy the next morning, but may also help you sleep more soundly without tossing and turning. There's also something to be said for the ritual of it all. Having a calm, consistent bedtime routine signals to your body that it's time to wind down. When that routine includes a simple, soothing snack, something you enjoy and feel good about, it becomes part of a larger habit that tells your nervous system you're safe. You can rest now. For some, it's a small bowl of honeydew with mint. For others, it might be chilled cantaloupe paired with a cup of warm herbal tea. These quiet choices are about more than nutrition, they're about nurturing. They help bring a sense of peace and control to the end of the day, which is often when stress, worry, or physical discomfort show up the loudest. One viewer shared with me that she used to stay up worrying, watching late-night TV and snacking on crackers or sweets out of habit. But after she swapped that for a bowl of melon and chamomile tea, she found herself feeling calmer by the time she reached for her pillow. She said it wasn't just the food, it was the message she was sending herself, that she was worth caring for even at the end of a long day. That's the heart of what food can be at any age, not just fuel, but care. For those who struggle with dry mouth or waking up thirsty, melon offers one more bonus. The gentle hydration supports the body overnight without the sharp impact of sugary drinks or acidic fruits. And because it's low in calories and easy to digest, it doesn't cause the kind of heaviness or reflux that can keep some people awake after eating. Even the scent of fresh melon can feel soothing to the senses, cool, clean, and soft. It reminds us of summer, of comfort, of ease. Of course, as with anything, portion and timing matter. Too much melon too close to bedtime may disrupt sleep rather than support it, especially for those with very sensitive blood sugar or smaller bladders. But a modest portion, just a few cubes, is often just enough to make a difference. And when it becomes part of your rhythm, part of how you end your day with intention and calm, the benefits begin to show up not just in the night itself, but in the mornings that follow. Coming up next, we'll shift from melon to another misunderstood fruit, the plum. It may be small and often overlooked, but inside its soft skin is a bundle of support for digestion, blood sugar, and inflammation. And for many older adults, this fruit may be the missing piece in a healthier, gentler daily routine. If melon offers a soft, watery start to the day, then plum is like a steady companion that helps carry you through the afternoon. Small, rich in color, and quietly packed with nutrients, the plum is often passed over in favor of flashier fruits, but for older adults, especially those managing digestion, blood sugar, or inflammation, The humble plum holds more value than meets the eye. You see, while many associate plums only with their dried form, prunes, fresh plums offer their own unique benefits. They're sweet, juicy, and contain just enough fiber and antioxidants to support your gut without being harsh or overwhelming. And when eaten regularly, they may gently restore balance where the body has long felt discomfort. Let's talk about digestion, one of the most common concerns for people over 50. Whether it's occasional constipation, bloating after meals, or a general feeling of irregularity, the gut often slows down with age. Add in medications, reduced mobility, and hydration challenges, and it's no wonder many older adults feel backed up, sluggish, or uncomfortable in their belly. This is where the plum shows its quiet strength. Plums contain both soluble and insoluble fiber. That means they can soften the stool while also helping it move through the intestines more smoothly. But unlike fiber supplements that can be rough or drying, plums work gently. Their natural water content makes the fiber easier to tolerate, especially for those with sensitive systems. One woman I worked with used to rely on over-the-counter laxatives multiple times a week. After gradually adding 1 or 2 fresh plums to her daily lunch paired with a cup of herbal tea, she noticed she no longer needed that backup as often. Her digestion became more regular, not perfect overnight, but consistently more comfortable. And perhaps more importantly, she began to feel less anxious around meals. When you're not worried about how food will sit, you enjoy it more. You digest it better. Your body begins to trust the process again. Plums are also naturally high in sorbitol, a type of sugar alcohol that draws water into the colon and helps soften stools. This is especially helpful for those dealing with occasional constipation but who don't tolerate fiber powders well. And the sweetness of plums doesn't hit the body the way processed sugar does. Because of their fiber and nutrient makeup, the sugar in plums is released slowly into the bloodstream. That means they offer a sweet moment without causing a glucose spike that leaves you feeling jittery or craving more. When paired with a small source of protein or fat, like a few almonds or a slice of cheese, they can become a balanced snack that satisfies your sweet tooth and your gut at the same time. There's also something special about color in food, and plums are rich in deep purple and red hues. These colors come from compounds called anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and protect cells from damage. When your gut is inflamed, even mildly, it can lead to discomfort, sluggishness, and even poor nutrient absorption. Antioxidants from colorful fruits like plums can help soothe that inflammation from within, making your digestive system more resilient over time. And since many older adults deal with low-grade inflammation from other chronic conditions, this kind of gentle support adds up. Another overlooked area where plums help is gut motility, how quickly and smoothly food moves through the digestive system. For those who experience that heavy, stuck feeling after eating, or who feel like their stomach is slowing down, the mild laxative effect of plum can help reset the rhythm. Unlike medications that force movement, plums encourage it. They signal the body to activate digestion, not rush it. And because they're hydrating, they help ensure that the process doesn't dry out or become strained along the way. Let's not forget the emotional side of gut health. When digestion is off, it affects more than the belly. It can cloud your mood, drain your energy, and even disrupt your sleep. There's a deep connection between the gut and the brain, what researchers call the gut-brain axis. So when you give your digestive system the tools it needs to work well, you're also supporting your mental clarity, mood, and overall sense of calm. A small plum in the afternoon isn't just a snack, it's a step toward comfort that ripples through the rest of your day. Now, if fresh plums aren't always available, frozen or unsweetened dried plums can still offer many of the same benefits, though the fiber and water content will differ slightly. What matters most is consistency. A plum once a week may not change much, but a plum most days, especially when part of a gut-friendly routine, can create meaningful shifts. Start small. Notice how your body feels. And let the results guide you rather than numbers on a label. Coming up next, we'll explore how plums not only support digestion but may also help reduce subtle inflammation in the body, especially the kind that affects joints, muscles, and overall comfort in daily movement. For many people over 50, inflammation is something they live with quietly, whether it shows up as stiff joints in the morning, aching knees after a short walk, or the persistent tightness in the lower back that makes it harder to get comfortable at night. It's not always dramatic or sharp. Often, it's a dull ache, a sense of heaviness, or just the feeling that your body doesn't recover like it used to. And while anti-inflammatory medications can help, many people are searching for gentler, more natural ways to ease that daily discomfort. That's where the humble plum begins to shine, offering something deeper than sweetness, something that works slowly but meaningfully with your body. Plums contain a powerful group of compounds known as polyphenol, particularly anthocyanins, which give them their deep purple and red skin. These antioxidants have been studied for their role in reducing oxidative stress and calming inflammation in tissues throughout the body. Inflammation isn't just about what hurts, it's also tied to how the body responds to injury, poor diet, high blood sugar, or even long-term stress. Over time, chronic low-grade inflammation can wear down joints, make muscles feel sore, and contribute to conditions like arthritis, heart disease, and cognitive decline. That's why foods that soothe inflammation can play such an important role in long-term health, especially when they're part of daily life. What makes plums particularly helpful is that they support this anti-inflammatory process through multiple gentle pathways. First, the fiber in plums feeds beneficial gut bacteria. When those bacteria thrive, they produce short-chain fatty acids, natural compounds that help regulate the immune system and reduce inflammation from the inside out. Second, plums help regulate blood sugar. Spikes and crashes in blood glucose can trigger inflammatory responses in the body. But because plums are low on the glycemic index and high in fiber, they digest slowly and help keep blood sugar levels more stable, reducing one of the hidden causes of chronic inflammation in older adults. One man in his early 70s told me that after adding plums to his lunch every day for a few weeks, he noticed that his hands didn't feel as stiff in the mornings. He could open jars more easily and even play with his grandchildren without needing to stretch his fingers first. That's not a scientific study, it's a human story. And stories like his are how many people begin to trust that food can help not as a cure, but as a partner in healing. Another often overlooked element is hydration. Inflammation can worsen when tissues are dry or when circulation is poor. The natural water content in plums supports fluid movement throughout the body, helping to keep muscles and joints more supple. Combine that with the magnesium and potassium found in plums, and you get a fruit that helps regulate muscle function, ease cramps, and reduce that tight, tense feeling that so many people carry in their back, neck, or legs. It's not about eliminating all pain, it's about softening the edges so you can move more freely and feel more at home in your body. If you live with arthritis, you know that food can affect your symptoms. Some meals leave you feeling more inflamed, while others seem to have no effect at all. Adding a couple of fresh plums to your weekly rhythm can be a safe experiment. Watch how your body responds. Do you feel looser when you wake up? Are your knees less stiff after a walk? Even a small change, if it brings a little ease, is worth noticing. And because plums are easy to carry, slice, and store, they fit well into almost any routine. It's also important to talk about consistency. Inflammation doesn't build overnight, and it doesn't disappear overnight either. That's why daily habits are more powerful than once-in-a-while superfoods. A plum a day, paired with hydration, movement, and a balanced plate, can support your body in ways that add up quietly. You may not notice the shift at first, but over time, you may find yourself reaching for fewer pain relievers, standing a bit taller, or walking a little longer before needing to rest. That's the real power of foods that work with your body instead of against it. Some people prefer dried plums, prunes, for their longer shelf life and more intense flavor. While dried fruit is more concentrated in sugar, when eaten in small portions, it still delivers many of the same benefits, including antioxidants and gut-friendly fiber. The key is moderation and mindfulness. 1 or 2 prunes with a few walnuts or a bit of cheese can be a wonderful afternoon snack that satisfies your craving for sweetness while quietly supporting your joints, muscles, and immune system. Coming up next, we'll look at one of the most common challenges for people managing blood sugar: afternoon cravings, and how plums, when eaten at the right time and in the right way, can help reduce those urges, stabilize energy, and keep you feeling full without guilt. If you've ever felt a strong craving for something sweet in the afternoon, say around 2 or 3 p.m., you're not alone. That slump hits a lot of people, especially those over 50, and it often brings a familiar thought. Just a little something to get me through the rest of the day. For many, that something becomes a cookie, a slice of cake, or a sweetened drink. It's quick, comforting, and satisfies the moment. But not long after, blood sugar spikes and then crashes, leaving you more tired, less focused, and craving even more sugar. It's a frustrating cycle, especially when you're doing your best to manage blood glucose or lose a little weight. That's why one of the smartest strategies is not to fight the craving head-on, but to meet it with something gentle, like a fresh plum. Plums are naturally sweet, but their fiber and water content make them an entirely different experience than processed sugar. When you bite into a plum, your taste buds light up, but the body receives it slowly. The sugar in a plum is packaged with soluble fiber, which forms a gel in your gut and slows the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. That means instead of a sudden burst of energy followed by a crash, you get a steady, calm rise in blood sugar, and that can be enough to carry you through the rest of the afternoon without setting off another wave of hunger. What's more, the fiber in plums also helps increase satiety, or the feeling of fullness. You're less likely to reach for another snack shortly after eating a plum because your stomach feels more satisfied. And this effect is magnified when you pair the plum with a source of protein or fat, like a few almonds, a slice of cheese, or even a spoonful of peanut butter. This kind of snack not only satisfies the sweet craving, it stabilizes your energy, supports your digestion, and feeds your muscles with the nutrients they need. One man in his mid-60s told me that he used to grab a granola bar every day around 3 p.m. But after learning how quickly those processed sugars affected his blood glucose, he switched to having a plum and a handful of walnuts instead. After just 1 week, he said the fogginess in his afternoon disappeared, and he stopped needing that second cup of coffee to power through the rest of the day. The best part? He still got to enjoy something sweet, but this time, it worked with his body instead of against it. Cravings often come from more than just hunger. They can come from fatigue, dehydration, boredom, or even emotional triggers like stress or loneliness. Plums offer support in these areas too. Because they're hydrating, they gently replenish fluid levels that may have dropped since your morning coffee. And their bright flavor and juicy texture can lift the mood without sending your blood sugar on a roller coaster. Some people like to slice them thinly, sprinkle with a little cinnamon, and enjoy them slowly like a dessert. Others prefer them cold, straight from the fridge, for a refreshing burst that wakes up the senses. There's also a mental shift that happens when you begin to honor cravings instead of fearing them. When you meet your body's need for sweetness with a natural, fiber-rich food like plum, you're saying, "I hear you and I'll take care of you." That changes the relationship with food. It reduces guilt. It builds trust. And over time, it creates a pattern where cravings become signals, not problems. The more often you respond with care and intention, the less often you'll feel out of control around food. For those managing diabetes, this afternoon strategy can make a meaningful difference in overall glucose patterns. Many people report that their evening blood sugar readings are more stable when they avoid processed snacks and instead use fruit-protein combos in the afternoon. And because plums are low in calories but rich in nutrients, they can also support weight management goals, which in turn improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. If you find yourself wanting something sweet every day around the same time, try preparing in advance. Keep ripe plums in the fridge where you can see them. Pair them with a small snack pack of almonds or low-sodium cheese. When the craving hits, you're ready, not scrambling. This one small step removes the panic from the moment and replaces it with peace. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. Some viewers even like to roast their plums, especially during the colder months. When baked with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a touch of vanilla, plums become warm, soft, and deeply satisfying, like comfort food without the crash. You can serve them over plain Greek yogurt or with a few crushed nuts for a cozy afternoon treat. It's delicious, simple, and nourishing. So the next time that sugar craving creeps in, consider reaching for a plum instead of a packaged snack. Let its sweetness satisfy your taste buds, let its fiber support your blood sugar, and let its nutrients feed your body from the inside out. Coming up next, we'll explore how plums may also help with muscle support and sleep, especially for older adults who struggle with cramps, restlessness, or nighttime discomfort. As we grow older, many of the small discomforts we feel throughout the day, like muscle cramps at night, feeling tired even after a full meal, or restless legs when trying to fall asleep, don't come from one big problem. Often, they're the result of tiny imbalances in our bodies. Not enough magnesium, low potassium, poor hydration, a digestion system that's slowed down, or blood sugar levels that swing too quickly from high to low. That's where plums step in again, quietly offering a bundle of natural support that touches several parts of the body at once, especially when it comes to muscle comfort, sleep support, and keeping your energy steady throughout the day. Let's start with something simple: potassium. This mineral plays a key role in how muscles contract and relax, which is why not getting enough of it can lead to cramps, especially in the calves, feet, or hands. For people over 50, these muscle twitches can come at night or after long periods of sitting or walking. Plums, especially when eaten with the skin on, contain a helpful dose of potassium that supports muscle function and helps ease those discomforts. It may not be enough to replace a prescription or fix an issue overnight, but it can be one of the gentle tools your body relies on over time. Alongside potassium, plums also contain magnesium, another essential mineral that supports muscle relaxation and even helps regulate sleep cycles. Many older adults are slightly deficient in magnesium without knowing it, especially those who take medications for blood pressure or blood sugar. When magnesium is low, the body has a harder time winding down at night. Muscles stay tense, and the nervous system stays more alert. That's part of why some people toss and turn, even when they're exhausted. Eating magnesium-rich foods like plums, not in huge amounts but consistently, can help refill that tank naturally. And because plums are soft, mildly sweet, and easy to digest, they work well as an evening snack, especially when paired with a small amount of protein. One woman told me that she started eating a sliced plum with a tablespoon of plain yogurt about an hour before bed. She said the sweetness helped curb her nighttime cravings, and over time, she noticed she was falling asleep faster. It wasn't a dramatic change, but a gentle shift. Less restlessness, fewer wake-ups. That's the kind of change that builds a sense of trust in your body. When your bedtime routine feels calming and supportive instead of rushed or random, your whole system begins to settle more easily. Now, let's talk about energy stability. As we age, our blood sugar becomes more sensitive. Large meals or processed snacks can cause quick rises and falls in energy, making you feel great one moment and drain the next. Plums, thanks to their fiber and natural sugars, digest more slowly, creating a gentle release of energy. This helps you avoid those sharp spikes and crashes that can leave you sleepy after lunch or craving sugar in the late afternoon. Many people find that adding plums to their midday meal gives them just enough natural fuel to finish the day without that slump. And for those managing type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, this is especially important. Keeping blood sugar steady isn't just about avoiding sugar. It's about choosing foods that digest at the right pace and provide long-lasting nourishment. Plums, when eaten in moderation and with a source of protein or fat, can help smooth out the day's energy curve. They don't act like candy, they act like support. Let's not forget about hydration either. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, tight muscles, and poor sleep. Because plums are juicy and hydrating, they help keep the body's water balance in check, especially when you don't feel like drinking another glass of water. One small plum won't replace a bottle of water, but it contributes to your daily total. And that small step, repeated day after day, becomes part of a bigger pattern of care. If you enjoy walking or light exercise, plums can also serve as a simple pre- or post-workout snack. The natural sugars give you quick energy, while the potassium and magnesium help your muscles work efficiently and recover faster. One man in his late 60s said he began taking a plum on his daily afternoon walk. He'd eat half before and half after. It became part of his rhythm. He said it gave him just enough lift to keep his pace up, and he stopped needing a sugary sports drink, which had been spiking his blood sugar. You can also incorporate plums into relaxing evening routines. Try slicing them over a small bowl of oats, alongside a warm herbal tea like chamomile or lemon balm. The combination of warm grains, natural sweetness, and calming herbs creates the kind of comfort food that feels like a soft landing at the end of the day. It's light, it's nurturing, and it tells the body, you've done enough. Let's rest now. And if you prefer something a little more creative, baked plums are a wonderful option. Slice them, sprinkle with cinnamon and a pinch of nutmeg, and roast them in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. They become tender, fragrant, and deeply comforting. Served warm with a spoonful of plain yogurt or a few chopped walnuts, they make a sleep-friendly dessert that satisfies without overwhelming. As with all things, the key is consistency. Eating one plum one time won't change everything, but creating a gentle pattern, a plum with lunch or before a walk or after dinner, builds a foundation. Over time, you may find your muscles feel less tense, your energy steadier, and your sleep more restorative. In the next part, we'll explore how to pair melons and plums together into simple, satisfying snacks that support blood sugar balance and make healthy eating easier, more enjoyable, and more sustainable in your everyday life. For many older adults, the challenge of eating well isn't always about knowing what's healthy, it's about finding meals and snacks that feel good, taste satisfying, and work with the rhythms of daily life. When you're managing blood sugar, joint pain, energy dips, or simply trying to stay regular, food has to do more than just fill you up, it has to support you from the inside out. That's where pairing fruits like melon and plum with smart, simple add-ins becomes a strategy that's both delicious and powerful. These aren't fancy recipes. They're easy combinations that help stabilize blood sugar, prevent overeating, and gently nourish your body without stress or confusion. Let's begin with melons, which work beautifully as a morning or mid-morning snack. Because they're water-rich and naturally low in calories, melons like cantaloupe or honeydew are ideal to pair with a small portion of protein or healthy fat. Try cutting a bowl of cantaloupe into cubes and sprinkling a tablespoon of unsalted sunflower seeds on top. You'll get a mix of hydration, sweetness, crunch, and slow-digesting fat that keeps you full longer. If you prefer dairy, a few cubes of melon alongside cottage cheese or plain Greek yogurt creates a creamy, refreshing combination that supports your blood sugar while feeling like a treat. Some people even drizzle a bit of lemon or lime over the melon to brighten the flavor and boost digestion first thing in the day. For plums, the afternoon is often the best time to enjoy them. That's when cravings for sugar and snacks tend to sneak in, often out of boredom, fatigue, or emotional triggers. Instead of grabbing processed food, try this. Slice one ripe plum and pair it with a small handful of almonds or a boiled egg. The fiber and sweetness of the plum satisfy the craving, while the fat and protein from the almonds slow digestion and balance the sugar. This combination is especially good for keeping blood sugar steady through the late afternoon, when many older adults feel that familiar dip in energy. One simple favorite that many people enjoy is a plum and cheese pairing. It sounds unusual, but it works beautifully. A sliced plum with a slice of mild cheddar or mozzarella offers the perfect mix of sweet and savory, soft and creamy, juicy and satisfying. It's easy to prepare, doesn't require cooking, and gives your body exactly what it needs, a small amount of carbohydrate balanced by fat and protein. It's the kind of snack that makes you feel cared for and one that supports better choices later in the day, like smaller portions at dinner and fewer nighttime cravings. You can also mix melon and plum together in small fruit bowls or light salads. One idea is to dice cantaloupe and plums, add a few chopped walnuts, and toss with a squeeze of lemon juice and a dash of cinnamon. This combo brings together hydration, fiber, healthy fat, and a little spice, all of which support digestion, reduce inflammation, and satisfy both your taste buds and your blood sugar. It's perfect as a side dish for lunch or even as a small dessert after a lighter dinner. If you're someone who likes blended snacks or smoothies, plums and melon can be used together for a hydrating, low-glycemic drink. Blend half a cup of melon with 1 pitted plum, a few spinach leaves, some chia seeds, and water or unsweetened almond milk. The result is a refreshing, slightly sweet smoothie that doesn't overwhelm your system. The fiber slows sugar absorption while the added seeds or greens boost the nutrient content. It's not just a drink, it's a gentle blood sugar support tool that happens to taste great. And don't overlook the power of frozen fruit. On warm days, frozen melon cubes or sliced plums make excellent snacks straight from the freezer. They're like natural popsicles, hydrating, satisfying, and easy to portion. Some people like to blend frozen plum slices with a spoonful of Greek yogurt and a splash of vanilla to create a healthy version of fruit sorbet. No added sugar, no crash later. Just clean, slow-release energy that helps your body feel nourished and calm. What's beautiful about these combinations is that they remove decision fatigue. You don't have to wonder what to eat or feel guilty about your snack choices. When you have go-to pairings that taste good and serve your body, eating becomes less about control and more about kindness. You're choosing snacks that offer sweetness without harm, that give comfort without inflammation, and that let you enjoy your food without second-guessing every bite. One woman I worked with said that once she prepped 3 days' worth of snacks, melons with seeds, plums with cheese, and a small fruit bowl with mint, she stopped reaching for cookies altogether. It wasn't that she had more willpower. It was that the food she wanted was already waiting. That's the quiet power of planning healthy fruit pairings that actually satisfy. In the next part, we'll explore how these fruits also support bone health, especially for women over 60, and how something as simple as a daily plum or melon serving can contribute to better strength, posture, and long-term mobility. As we age, one concern that quietly grows more important, yet often remains unspoken, is bone health. Many people over 60 begin to notice subtle changes, a little more stiffness getting out of bed, a slight hunch in posture, or more frequent aches after standing or walking. For women especially, postmenopausal bone loss becomes a reality due to decreased estrogen levels. And while calcium and vitamin D often take center stage in bone discussions, there's another layer that matters deeply: how natural foods like plums and melons gently protect and support your bones over time. These everyday fruits, often enjoyed for their sweetness or digestion benefits, may also be one of your quietest allies in preserving mobility and preventing fractures. Let's start with plums, which have been studied for their unique bone-supportive properties. Plums contain polyphenol, the same antioxidant compounds that help reduce inflammation. But recent research shows they may also play a role in reducing bone resorption, the process by which bones lose density. One small study found that women who ate just 5 to 6 dried plums per day over several months experienced slower bone loss and, in some cases, slight gains in bone density. The key lies in plums' combination of polyphenol, potassium, magnesium, and vitamin K, all of which contribute to building and maintaining strong bones. For older adults, especially those with a family history of osteoporosis or who've experienced falls in the past, this kind of gentle daily support matters. It's not about taking large doses of supplements. It's about giving your body what it needs in a natural form day after day so it can do what it was built to do: repair, rebuild, and protect you. One woman in her 60s told me she began eating a plum with breakfast and a small handful of nuts. It became a calming routine. Over time, her doctor noted her bone scan numbers were holding steady. No magic, just consistency and care. Melons, too, offer bone-supportive benefits, though in a more indirect way. Melons are rich in vitamin C, which plays a role in collagen formation. Collagen isn't just for skin. It's a key component in bones, helping them stay flexible and resilient. Think of it as the scaffolding that supports bone strength from within. Cantaloupe, in particular, offers a good source of vitamin C in a form that's easy to digest and gentle on the stomach. especially first thing in the morning. Melons also help with hydration, which supports the health of the tissues surrounding your bones, your joints, ligaments, and muscles. When these tissues are hydrated, they're more elastic and less prone to strain or injury. Proper hydration also supports better circulation, helping nutrients move to your bones and muscles more efficiently. It may sound simple, but just staying hydrated can reduce joint discomfort and support better posture throughout the day. Now, let's connect the dots between blood sugar, inflammation, and bone loss, because they are more related than many people realize. Chronic high blood sugar and systemic inflammation can accelerate bone loss over time. The more stable your glucose levels are, the more balanced your body remains. That's where the combination of plums and melons becomes a quiet but powerful partnership. Together, they provide fiber, hydration, antioxidants, and bone-friendly nutrients without causing spikes in blood sugar. It's a natural rhythm of nourishment that supports the whole body, not just the bones. For example, starting your day with a bowl of cantaloupe and Greek yogurt, and then having a sliced plum with almonds in the afternoon, gives you hydration, calcium, potassium, magnesium, vitamin C, and a touch of protein, all with minimal prep and maximum benefit. You don't have to overhaul your diet or give up all your favorite meals. You just have to add in what your body quietly needs more of. If you're someone who enjoys walking or stretching to stay active, supporting your bones with food makes every step safer. It's the combination of movement, muscle support, and nutrient-rich meals that builds true resilience. Even your balance and coordination can improve when your bones and joints are being supported, not just with supplements or exercise, but with the kind of food that works gently in the background. Some older adults worry that fruit is just sugar and may harm their bones or blood sugar. But as we've explored, that isn't true when you choose the right fruits in the right combinations and in moderate portions. Melons and plums are low to moderate glycemic, high in water and fiber, and loaded with plant compounds that work at the cellular level to reduce inflammation, regulate sugar, and protect tissue. That's not just fruit, it's functional food. And perhaps most importantly, these foods feel good to eat. They bring back a sense of pleasure and simplicity, especially for those who've spent years navigating complicated diets or feeling restricted. When something is easy to prepare, tastes naturally sweet, and also builds strength and mobility over time, it becomes more than just a snack, it becomes a ritual of self-care. In the next section, we'll take everything we've explored and pull it together into a gentle 5-day fruit-based routine designed specifically for older adults who want to eat better without stress, support their bones and blood sugar, and feel more in tune with their body's quiet signals. When it comes to making lasting changes in your health, especially after 50, the key isn't big overhauls or perfect meal plans, it's small, doable habits you can repeat. Things that feel natural, kind, rhythmic. That's why creating a simple 5-day fruit-based routine using plum and melon can be a powerful yet gentle way to improve your digestion, balance your blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and even support your bones. This isn't a diet. It's a soft pattern you can fold into your daily life, a structure that helps your body feel nourished without pressure or confusion. Let's begin with the morning. Every day for 5 days, start with a glass of water and a small bowl of cantaloupe or honeydew. Just 5 or 6 cubes is enough. This quiet habit hydrates your body before coffee, wakes up your digestion, and gently introduces fiber and natural sugar to your system without overwhelming it. You can add a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt or a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds for a touch of protein and texture. The goal is to feel light and supported, not full or sluggish. One viewer who tried this said her usual morning bloat went away within 3 days just from changing how she started her day. For the afternoon, that's when plums become your companion. Around 2 or 3 p.m., when energy begins to dip or cravings start to rise, have one ripe plum sliced with a handful of raw almonds or a piece of cheese. This snack satisfies your sweet tooth, keeps blood sugar steady, and delivers important minerals like magnesium and potassium to your muscles and nerves. If you're someone who tends to nap out of fatigue, you may notice your energy lasts a little longer with this steady fuel. And if you're walking in the afternoons or doing any light activity, this small pairing can help reduce soreness later. In the evening, you have options. If you often get hungry after dinner or feel the need for dessert, try preparing baked plums with cinnamon and a few chopped walnuts. Or slice up some melon, drizzle it with lime juice and sea salt, and enjoy it slowly while watching TV or reading. These snacks are light enough not to disturb your sleep but substantial enough to curb cravings. And because they're naturally hydrating, they help with nighttime muscle cramps and dry mouth, two very common issues for older adults. One woman shared that just by switching from her usual cookies to roasted plum slices, she slept deeper and woke up without that fuzzy, heavy feeling. Across these 5 days, the structure stays the same: melon in the morning, plum in the afternoon, and one optional fruit-based snack in the evening. But what changes is how your body feels. You may notice you're going to the bathroom more regularly, that your joints feel a little looser, that your sugar cravings have softened, that your skin looks more hydrated. None of it feels dramatic, and yet it's happening. And because the foods are enjoyable and familiar, you don't feel like you're trying hard. You're simply choosing better tools. The beauty of this routine is that it's flexible. You can swap cantaloupe for honeydew or add in other low-glycemic fruits like berries or kiwi if they're in season. But keeping plum and melon as your anchors allows your body to settle into a rhythm. That rhythm tells your digestion, your blood sugar, and even your nervous system you're safe. You're supported. And when the body feels that way, it functions better without needing perfection or strict rules. This 5-day practice is also a test. Not a test you pass or fail, but a test that invites you to notice. How does your body feel when you feed it hydration, fiber, and color? What happens to your cravings when you eat enough at the right time? What's possible when meals become a form of care, not control? One man in his early 70s tried this exact rhythm and said, "It felt like my body was finally being listened to." That's the quiet power of the right food at the right time in the right way. No lectures, no guilt, just consistent, kind nourishment. In the conclusion, we'll gently reflect on this journey, what we've discovered, how fruit can be a daily act of healing, and what it means to create a peaceful rhythm that supports not just your blood sugar, but your entire well-being. Over the past hour, we've shared a gentle path through fruits that don't just taste good, they support your body in ways that matter deeply, especially as the years go by. It wasn't about diets or perfect choices, but about returning to something simple and trustworthy: foods that hydrate, soothe, and nourish from within. Maybe what you've taken from this isn't just information, but a sense of permission. Permission to enjoy sweetness again, to let go of fear around fruit, to believe that something small, like a plum at lunch or melon in the morning, can quietly shift how your body feels throughout the day. For many people, change doesn't begin with a grand plan, it begins with one quiet moment of noticing. Noticing that your energy feels steadier, that your hands are less puffy, that your cravings soften this afternoon, and that noticing builds a rhythm, a healthy breakfast that brings lightness, or a few slices of fruit that help you rest easier at night. If there's one thought I hope stays with you, it's this: your body remembers kindness. Not loud, dramatic change, but gentle consistency. Choosing something fresh, pausing long enough to taste, listening instead of pushing. You don't need to overhaul everything. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep coming back to what works. So as this video comes to a close, I hope you feel not just informed, but comforted. Like someone finally spoke to the part of you that wants to feel good again without stress or shame. And as you carry that feeling into your day or into your evening, may you remember, some of the most powerful changes begin quietly, with a piece of fruit, a glass of water, a breath, and the soft belief that taking care of yourself can still be simple.